You know women love dominant men, right?
I love me a dominant man. And other women do too.
She loves it when a guy can lead her to fun, hold her emotions, dominate in his own life, and even put her in her place when you need to. In a loving way, of course. And when you first started dating her, you were showing her a lot of these unconsciously, these masculine traits that made her feel safe and led and secure and just, oh, this guy, right? That's how she felt. So what happened? Over the years, stress came in like a corrosive acid and slowly decayed this natural, bright light you once had, leaving an energetic and spiritual emptiness, the shell of the once core confident man you used to be. It is time to restore that, to unlock your core essence as a man, to break the chains of weak complacency and to harness the ability to guide her back to your side again. You are about to level up your masculine core with the concepts that I'm gonna lay out to you in this video in the next few minutes. There are 3 masculine habits that you will start using as soon as today. And by the way, the third one, it comes from this exceptional psychologist that I interviewed on my podcast. You'll see about that later on. And it blew my mind after hearing it. It will cause you to just see her completely differently. The first principle is cause over effect. By far the most spoken about skill in our program is being unreactive. You will hear men like this guy talk about in our Facebook group. I reacted for the first time in a couple of months. She was chaotic and all over the place. Couldn't tell if she was coming or going, and she was projecting all that chaos onto me. If I tried to name her emotion, I was wrong. If I tried to ask her how I could help, I was wrong. If I stayed quiet, I was wrong. Fuck, I was just wrong at every level this morning. This is on the heels of a couple of solid days where I had made strides with her. Anyways, I failed the test, I reacted, yelled back briefly. So why does this happen? There's only some core needs that your wife, a girlfriend, can meet for you. Only her. And so when those core elements that keep you alive, when they are threatened, it brings you back into this childlike state. Yes, she is being a child when she's reacting and being emotional, but so are you. If you yell back, if you defend, if you shut down, that is being reactive. No matter how much she pokes and prods and causes you to want to fall apart and pisses you off, her higher spirit, loving, conscious self is saying, please don't. Please be unreactive. Please be that loving embrace, that person that can just hold my emotions and allow me to act crazy with respect and not have you react. For when you do react, she feels unsafe. She loses trust that you can't control your emotions in other areas of your life as well. Think of the implications of that one. Really think. If she says, oh, he loses his emotions in this domain, what's gonna stop him from becoming emotional and making mistakes in other areas of his life when I'm not around? And look, man, like, you don't understand how scary you are to her. Okay, imagine this other being that was like bigger and stronger and louder than you, and it like yelled at you, and you maybe thought, yeah, he's not gonna hit me, but like there's that part of you that's like, holy crap, right? And maybe she doesn't show it all the time, but you do scare her. Maybe she doesn't wanna admit that, but you do. Let me show you through a clip just how important it is to be unreactive.
Whenever I talk about something to my boyfriend and I have something to rant about and something just did not go well, all I want to hear is like, yes, you did well, good job. But every single time I tell my boyfriend, he's like, this is the logical way to solve this and here's a solution. And I'm like, no, I don't want you to fix my problems. I just want you to tell me that I did good.
If you want to fix this, you have to talk to your boyfriend, because women are men. You are looking for someone that understands you like a woman. Men, we always look for solutions. If we have a problem, we want to solve the problem and continue. Women, on the other hand, they just want to talk about it. They don't want any solutions. They want to cry about it. And men, we are not built that way. So if you really want to fix this, you have to tell him. Otherwise, he will keep on doing it.
And when you get this right, let me show you what happens with another post in our program. My immediate goal is to be non-reactive. There was an interaction today that would have in the past caused me to react emotionally. Her actions don't matter nearly as much as mine, but for context, it was in regard to family, finances, and her deviating from the plan. I immediately identified that this was something I had been reactive to. I took a deep breath, I let it pass. I determined it wasn't worth addressing in the moment, and it wasn't that big of an issue anyways. We parted ways on a positive note. Follow on the win. She reached out to me an hour or so later to offer support and encouragement in regard to some drama at work. Yay me, us. Thank you all. You're all part of this win. We can do this. The power of being unreactive. There's nothing more in your immediate behavior that can instantly shift the way she sees you than being unreactive. There are proactive things that you can do to start to garner that curiosity and see that change that we talk about a lot on this channel. But the number one skill to create that immediate shift is to stop shutting down, is to stop yelling, is to stop retreating, stop reacting. The second concept to master is to learn to lead. Let me share a story about this with a client. See, Casey was stunned. Her words hit him like a computer virus crashing through the carefully constructed system of his beliefs. He worked hard in the IT department, and after a long day of troubleshooting and problem solving, he loved nothing more than coming home and just checking his brain at the door and relaxing with his family, just unwinding. Casey was a devoted husband and a father and a creature of habit. He preferred the comfort of his home over going out and liked things to be just straightforward and simple. Decisions in the home, I mean, that was his wife's department. She was so good at it. She did it all the time. Whenever she tried to talk to him about their plans or the kids, he just kind of nodded along, barely lifting his eyes from the phone or TV because I'll let her decide, right? It's like, I'm gonna make it easy for her. He'd often joke that she wore the pants in the family, and he was more than happy to just let her take the lead. Dinner plans, weekend activities, even handling the bills. Casey would say, I'm good with whatever you choose, honey, thinking that he's just doing her a favor, that it showed support and respect. He even prided himself on being the dream husband who would never argue or took control until the day she didn't appreciate it anymore. It started small, a sigh here, an eye roll there, little signs of irritation that Casey brushed off as stress from her busy schedule. However, one evening, she snapped. It wasn't over anything big. It never is. Just the kids' lunches for the next week. But the frustration that had been building for years finally exploded when Casey said, "What's your problem?" "I'm tired, Casey," she shouted in tears of exhaustion and frustration filled her eyes. "I'm tired of having to decide everything. You can't see it? I'm overwhelmed. I don't want to be in charge of every single detail in our lives. I want you to take the lead sometimes. I need you to step up." Her words left Casey reeling. "Why didn't you say anything before?" She could have punched him. "I tried so many times. You never, ever listened to me," is what she said. And he'd always thought he was making things easier for her, that she was the one that wanted to be in control. That was just part of my wife likes being in control. That's what he would say. But he came to realize that his efforts to be accommodating had actually left her feeling alone and burdened. Things were rocky, to say the least, when Casey finally reached out to us. Though his wife never threatened divorce, she did need some space. He was confused and hurt, but more than anything, he was determined to change. He knew he had to step up in ways that he never had considered before. Through our guidance, he learned what it means to be a true partner, how to lead in a relationship. He started listening intently to his wife, being fully present instead of just nodding along without making eye contact. He made it a daily habit to check in, asking about her upcoming workday, and then afterwards, how it went. Finally, one day, Casey got the bright idea to plan a surprise outing to the Science Museum, a place their kids loved and hadn't been to in ages, trying to recapture some nostalgic memories they once had. He remembered her mentioning a few weeks back when they drove past, so he booked the tickets and packed a picnic lunch and even arranged for a dog sitter, all without asking his wife what she thought. When she came down Saturday morning, instead of the usual, "What do you want to do today?" she was met with a confident, "I've got the day completely planned out. Go wear this right now. We're leaving in 1 hour." Then Casey went out to go get a fresh cup of coffee for his wife, her favorite type. You could see the relief just wash over her eyes. It wasn't a grand gesture, but it was enough to just show that he was taking this change seriously and knowing how to lead. Now let me go over the LEADER acronym and 7 ways that you can lead more effectively. L stands for listening intently. Look, good leaders know how to listen. Whether it's a coach from a sports team or it's a great CEO or a father, a good leader listens and understands the person that they're talking to. The E stands for encouraging growth. A lot of men, they'll see the worst in their wives, right? They'll focus on the negative aspects of her, and that's what grows. You see, whatever you focus on will grow. What a good leader does is they see everyone's full potential, the best in them, and that's what they bring out. The A stands for assert healthy boundaries, which, by the way, if boundaries are an issue for you, that video at the end of this video will teach you how to assert your boundaries while maintaining respect, so stay to the end to get that. The D stands for demonstrating emotional strength. This goes back to being unreactive. But are you in control of your emotions? Or do you let those little emotions of desire or guilt or shame or apathy or anxiety completely wash over you and take you for a ride? Or are you able to recognize those lower level emotions for what they are and have the wherewithal, the conscious power to let them pass by like a leader should? The I in leading stands for initiating solutions. We talk about this a lot on the channel, but one of the main reasons why I went away from the traditional marriage model of counseling was that I would just focus on problems all the time, and it was freaking mind-boggling how much you just focus on the problems. There's more problems. But instead, I took a solutions-oriented approach. Okay, here's the problem, but let's find the solution. And when you do that, instead, great leaders are always looking for solutions to the problems. Yes, they don't ignore the problems. They know they exist. But if you've ever been in like a meeting or in a company, or you're just around someone who just focuses on problems all the time, if you're not getting exhausted, then you're that person. You need to look in the mirror, but you should always be finding solutions to the issues. Otherwise, you just like the misery. The N stands for nurturing connection. Now, a good masculine leader, especially in the romantic relationship context, they're the ones that the wife can voice the disconnect, but once she voices that criticism or that like need or request in disguise, it is up to the man, the leader, to then promote an environment or an activity to foster that connection again. You're going to lead her by taking her on a date, by having a deep emotional conversation with her when things feel disconnected. She will let you know, right? She has over the years. It is up to you to be aware of that, and then you're the proactive one to then heal and create that connection with her. And the G stands for to guide with vision. You know, complacency is that death trap of divorce. The opposite of that is to find this vision. Why are you doing what you're doing? If you came to me right now and you sat across from me and I said, okay, why do you want to save your marriage? If I didn't hear a crystal clear answer, I can know that you don't really know. The man that sits across from me on the computer, of course, and says, Josh, she is everything to me. I know I can live without her, but my life is just better with her. And we have so much we can conquer and do together and experience and grow and influence this world through the model of our children, through our community. Those kind of answers, I'm like, that's vision, okay? And it's not like it's an inherent skill. You just sit down and you write out what is the vision of the relationship you want together. Now, if you would like support in any of that, and you want us to evaluate your marriage and see what exactly led to where things are at right now, what you could do is just click the link down below, set up a free call with a marriage evaluation team. Just make sure you are fully committed to making change. And if you are, we'd love to talk with you. Let's move on. The third concept that I'm going to lay out to you comes from Dr. Orion Terabin. I interviewed him on our podcast, and I'll link the video he talks about down below where I got this inspiration, so thank you to him. But he talks about this idea of men and women have different currencies. And a lot of the issues in relationships come up when a man tries to pay the woman in the male currency, has a man face on it, and the woman has her female currency that she tries to pay the man. And you see, the currency it's kind of accepted, but it's not as valued. So let me tell you a story of one of our first clients it was the first client I ever worked with online, right? Not with the traditional model, but this new model that I've created. And it became a prototypical story. See, this man was quite successful, and his wife, after the kids left, she wanted to have more of a purpose. So she went back to work herself in the marketing. Now, to the community, he told me this verbatim. He said, Josh, on the outside looking in, everyone thought that we were that couple. They all looked to us. We had 3 beautiful kids. 2 of them were super successful colleges, great careers, beautiful home, picturesque, perfect. Well, why was this man coming to me? You see, he recently found out that his wife was having an emotional affair with her boss. And the only way that this man could reconcile the idea that his wife would sabotage such a perfect life was that she was having some midlife crisis, that she had this deep trauma that was buried that's now coming up from the surface. And the scary or damaging thing is that you could perceive that as true, and a lot of men do. And that is leaning into the victim mentality, which ultimately at the end of the day, it feels good immediately when you say that, but long term, you're the one that suffers from it. So I helped him understand this idea that all the things that he was providing his wife, yes, she valued those things, but they weren't her currency. You see, the idea of a good home, of vacations, of great friends, of like, hey, he even said like, I'm a good looking dude. Those are important. I'm not gonna negate the value that you bring with those things into a relationship. So don't negate those, but they don't satisfy her top core needs that keep her happy in a relationship. A man's currency is more in the objective, in the measurable, whereas what the female currency values is more in the characteristic traits, the values, and who you are as a man. You see, if you talk to enough women, even do this as an experiment, go around and ask a bunch of women that you know, say there's 2 types of guys, okay? There's a guy who has no money, he's kind of average looking, but you know what? This guy is super confident, he is a great leader, he is loving, he's supporting, and there's this other guy who is loaded, amazing looking, but he doesn't listen to you, he dismisses you. 99 times out of 100, the woman's gonna choose the first guy, okay? And so you have to recognize that there are inherent qualities in yourself that you need to see in her currency that then you can learn to meet. And it is not that hard. Meeting these leads, you can stair step your way back towards reconciliation, because at different stages of getting her back after she wants separation, she has core needs that you need to show her in the man that you are. And this is what we do with men in our program. However, if you want one of the core skills where she's gonna start to come back to you, that's the video right here on testing. So you can check that out. Set up a call down below if you need more support. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.